If you are between 65 and 80 years old and can still perform the 8 tasks we're about to discuss, you're not just aging well, you're actually outpacing most of your peers. In fact, your chances of living to 100 may be higher than you realize. Aging isn't solely determined by genetics or luck. It's daily habits that shape the quality of your life over decades. Many people assume that aging automatically brings weakness, loss of balance, and a slower pace of life. But that's only part of the story. Second, you can walk briskly without getting out of breath. This is one of the strongest indicators of longevity. It's not about how far you can walk, but how quickly you're still able to move. If you're between 65 and 80 years old and can maintain a brisk walking pace without feeling winded, you're in significantly better health than you might think. Walking speed isn't just a measure of energy levels. It reflects the condition of your heart, the strength of your lungs, and how well your muscles support your body. A study published in Cardiology and Aging in 2023 found that walking speed is actually a more reliable predictor of life expectancy than many traditional health indicators, including blood pressure and cholesterol levels. If you can walk quickly without effort, it's a strong sign that your cardiovascular system is functioning well. Your heart is pumping blood efficiently, your lungs are delivering oxygen throughout your body, and your muscles have the stamina to keep you moving. Take Robert Mitchell, a 74-year-old retired geologist from Denver, for example. He noticed that his daily walks were taking longer and that he was becoming short of breath more easily. Instead of chalking it up to aging, Robert decided to work on his pace. Each week, he challenged himself to complete his usual walking route 1 minute faster. After 2 months, not only had he regained his previous speed, but he also noticed something unexpected. His memory and focus had improved significantly. This wasn't a coincidence. Research shows that faster walking boosts blood flow to the brain, encouraging the formation of new neural connections. Dr. James Bolton from the National Institute for Neurological Research points out that the link between walking speed and cognitive function is so strong that observing a person's gait can provide a reliable prediction of dementia risk. If you want to test yourself, try this simple challenge. Walk 10 meters at your normal pace. Then accelerate as if you're trying to catch a closing elevator. If you can do it without gasping for air, that's an excellent sign. And if it's difficult, don't worry. Endurance can be rebuilt. Regular walks, gradually increasing your pace, combined with good posture and light leg exercises, can make a significant difference. Third, you can stand on one leg for at least 10 seconds. Balance is something we rarely think about until we start to lose it. But the ability to stand on one leg for at least 10 seconds is one of the strongest indicators of healthy aging. It means your muscles, nerves, and reflexes are still working together properly. When you balance on one leg, your body, legs, inner ear, and even your eyesight must cooperate precisely to keep you stable. An international study conducted in 2023 involving over 2,000 seniors found a striking result. Participants who could balance on one leg for 10 seconds or more had a 46% lower risk of death from all causes over the next 7 years, compared to those who could not. Consider Linda Parker, a 73-year-old former literature teacher from Boston. She began to notice she was losing her balance slightly while getting dressed. One day, while trying to put on a sock, she nearly fell. Instead of ignoring this warning sign, she decided to start practicing simple balance exercises every day. She would stand on one leg by the kitchen counter for 5 seconds, gradually increasing the time as she improved. After just a month, she was able to confidently maintain her balance for more than 15 seconds on each leg. "It completely changed my life," she says. "I'm no longer afraid to go out when it's snowy or to climb the stairs." This newfound confidence allowed her to start traveling again and return to gardening, activities she had previously avoided out of fear of falling. Good balance, besides preventing falls, is closely linked to brain health. Neurologist Sarah Mitchell explains, maintaining balance requires complex neural coordination and constant sensory processing. By regularly training your balance, you are not only strengthening your body, but also keeping your brain flexible and adaptable. If you want to check your balance right now, try this simple test. Stand next to a countertop or wall for safety and lift one leg carefully off the floor. Can you stay balanced for at least 10 seconds without wobbling? If yes, you're doing great. If not, don't worry. Balance can improve significantly with just a few minutes of practice each day. Number 4, you can get down to the floor and stand up again without assistance. This next sign might sound simple, but it's critically important. If you are still able to get down to the floor and then stand up without assistance, you're maintaining a skill that many people your age have already lost. This ability demonstrates that your legs are still strong, your core is stable, and your body remains flexible enough to move in a coordinated way. In other words, your body is still functioning as an integrated team. Dr. Daniel Clark from the University of Texas popularized the SRT, sitting rising test, which is now widely used to assess mobility and predict longevity. The ability to lower yourself to the floor and rise again without using your hands or knees strongly correlates with a longer life expectancy. Take the example of Michael Thompson, a 77-year-old retired engineer. He was surprised to discover he couldn't get up from the floor after playing with his grandson. I sat down to help him build with blocks, but when it came time to stand, I realized I couldn't do it without pulling myself up on the couch. It was a real wake-up call for me. Michael sought help from a physical therapist who developed a simple exercise program for him, including modified squats, hip bridges, and glute strengthening exercises. After 3 months, not only was he able to get up from the floor easily, but he also noticed improvements in other areas, like climbing stairs and tending his garden. Mobility rehabilitation specialist David Carter explains that for many older adults, the inability to rise from the floor triggers a cascade of limitations, leading to reduced independence over time. As people age, many begin to avoid certain movements, leading to further muscle atrophy and a gradual loss of mobility. This creates a vicious cycle that can significantly lower quality of life. You can assess yourself right now. Stand next to a chair or sofa. Slowly lower yourself to the floor. Pause for a moment, then try to get back up without using your hands for support. Were you able to do it? If yes, that's a fantastic sign. If not, that's perfectly normal too. The ability to rise without using your hands can be restored through gentle daily practice. 5. You can carry a grocery bag without strain. Strength isn't about lifting heavy weights at the gym. It's about being able to handle everyday tasks without effort or discomfort. One of the clearest real-world indicators of strength is whether you can carry a full bag of groceries without feeling strained. If you can, it's a strong sign that your body is aging well. And it's not just your arms that matter here. Carrying weight involves your back, shoulders, core muscles, and grip strength. In fact, research shows that grip strength alone is one of the most reliable predictors of overall health and longevity. A study published in the Journal of Gerontology in 2023 found that seniors with strong grip strength had a 37% lower risk of developing sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, and a 42% lower risk of falls that could lead to hospitalization. Take Robert Stevens, a 75-year-old from Manchester, for example. He began noticing that grocery bags felt heavier than they used to, not because he was buying more, but because he had gradually lost some strength. It was strange, he recalled. The same groceries I'd carried for years suddenly felt like a burden. Following his doctor's advice, Robert started a simple strength training program, lifting light dumbbells, squeezing a rubber ball to improve his grip, and using resistance bands to strengthen his shoulders. The results were remarkable. Within a few months, not only was grocery shopping easier, but he also had noticeably more energy throughout the day. Nutrition expert Natalie Grant highlights the critical link between strength, nutrition, and hormonal balance. After age 70, the body's protein needs increase by 20 to 25%, even though appetite often decreases. This creates the perfect conditions for muscle loss if not addressed. Providing enough high-quality protein becomes just as crucial as regular exercise. Current recommendations suggest seniors should consume between 1.2 and 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily, much higher than older, more traditional guidelines. This is especially important for maintaining strength needed for everyday tasks like carrying groceries. 6. You can climb a flight of stairs without stopping. Climbing stairs might seem like a simple action, but it's actually one of the clearest indicators of how well your heart, lungs, and legs are working together. If you can still climb a full flight of stairs without pausing to catch your breath, you are in better physical shape than most people in your age group. This seemingly small task demands real cardiovascular and muscular strength. Your heart must steadily pump blood, your lungs must supply enough oxygen, and your leg muscles must have enough strength to lift you step by step. If any of these systems aren't working properly, you will feel it almost immediately. Cardiologist Dr. Andrew Barnes considers stair climbing to be a mini stress test. The way a person climbs stairs tells me more about their heart health than some lab results, Dr. Barnes explains. It's a functional test that engages many physiological systems at once. In his practice, Dr. Barnes often uses a stair climbing test as an initial screening tool for cardiovascular health. I ask patients to climb 4 flights of stairs in under a minute. Those who can do it without stopping generally show excellent indicators for long-term survival, he says. Take Margaret Williams, 73, for example. She realized she had started avoiding visiting her daughter's 4th-floor apartment because there was no elevator. I always had to stop to catch my breath by the 2nd floor, and it embarrassed me. I even started coming up with excuses not to visit, she admits. Rather than accepting this limitation, Margaret created a gradual improvement plan. She began by climbing 1 flight a day at home, slowly increasing her pace. Later, she added short daily walks and simple strengthening exercises for her legs. After 6 weeks, she could climb all 4 flights without stopping. It may seem like a small achievement, but it gave me the freedom to see my grandchildren whenever I want, she shares. Research published in the European Journal of Cardiology has shown that the ability to climb stairs quickly strongly correlates with a lower risk of heart disease and premature death. In fact, individuals who couldn't pass the stair climbing test were found to be 3 times more likely to die from heart disease within the next 5 years. 7th, you can clearly remember recent conversations and events. Your memory tells a powerful story about how well your brain is aging. If you are between 65 and 80 years old and can still recall names, recent conversations, and daily details, you are in better cognitive shape than many people realize. Strong memory isn't just about remembering facts. It reflects the overall health of your brain and nervous system. It shows that your blood flow remains steady, your neurons are active, and your cognitive networks are still sharp and functional. Neuropsychologist Dr. Susan Elwood explains, the ability to retain new information is one of the best markers of cognitive health. When we see older adults easily recalling names and following complex conversations, it's usually a strong indicator of excellent brain functioning. A recent study using functional MRI scans showed that seniors with exceptional memory patterns display brain activation similar to that of people a decade younger. Their brains adapt to age-related changes by engaging additional areas to maintain cognitive performance. Take Robert Davis, a 79-year-old retired engineer. He still remembers conversations from a week ago, keeps up with new technologies, and rarely forgets a name. What's the key to his success? Every morning he reads something challenging, a scientific article or a philosophy book, and then over breakfast, he explains what he learned to his wife. If he can clearly break down a complex idea, he knows he has truly understood it. This simple daily habit brings together several strategies that neuroscientists identify as vital for maintaining brain health: active learning, social interaction, and the practice of summarizing information. Research shows that combining these activities is especially powerful in preserving cognitive functions as we age. If you're still solving problems, having lively conversations, and recalling small details, it's a wonderful sign. And even if you notice occasional lapses in memory, don't worry, you can strengthen your mind just like you strengthen your body. Try solving puzzles, reading new material, joining a discussion group, or taking regular walks. These activities improve blood circulation, which is essential for brain health. 8. You wake up feeling refreshed and ready for the day. The way you wake up each morning quietly reveals a lot about how well your body is functioning. If you're between 65 and 80 years old and still wake up naturally feeling refreshed, positive, and ready to start the day, it's one of the clearest signs of robust health and resilience. Sleep is the time when your body heals itself, your brain clears waste and recharges, and your immune system strengthens. However, with age, sleep often becomes more fragmented. Many older adults struggle to fall asleep, wake up frequently during the night, or rise in the morning feeling drained. But if you continue to wake up without an alarm clock, feeling alert and energized, you are among a fortunate minority. According to Dr. Emily Robertson, a sleep specialist, sleep quality is deeply tied to almost every aspect of health, from cognitive function and immune strength to mood regulation and weight control. A 2023 study published in Sleep and Circadian Health found that seniors who maintain good sleep habits have a 63% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's disease and a 44% lower risk of heart-related illnesses compared to those with poor sleep. John Davis, a 74-year-old from Brookside, noticed his sleep quality had declined. He would wake up several times at night and feel fatigued all day. After consulting a sleep specialist, he made several small but impactful changes to his routine. He adopted a strict sleep schedule, going to bed and waking up at the same times every day. He stopped using screens 2 hours before bedtime, added a 30-minute daily walk outdoors, and replaced his evening coffee with calming herbal tea. The difference was incredible, he shared. Within a month, I was not only sleeping better, but also felt sharper, happier, and even saw improvements in my blood pressure. For older adults, the most restorative sleep stage is deep sleep, also known as slow-wave sleep. During this phase, the body releases growth hormones that repair tissues and strengthen the immune system. Although deep sleep naturally declines with age, studies show that regular physical activity, especially morning exercise outdoors, can significantly boost the amount of deep sleep you get. Even a brief 20-minute walk in the morning sunlight can help reset your circadian rhythms and significantly improve your quality of sleep at night. Conclusion. Take a moment to reflect. How many of these 8 signs do you still recognize in yourself? Can you stand up from a chair without needing your hands for support, walk briskly without becoming short of breath, maintain good balance, climb stairs, or carry groceries without strain? Are your conversations still sharp and your memory clear? Do you wake up most days feeling energized and mentally alert? If you answered yes to several of these, you are not just aging well, you are aging powerfully. You are preserving strength, endurance, mental clarity, and independence. And that, more than anything else, defines what it means to live a long and meaningful life. Many people think aging inevitably leads to slowing down, loss of abilities, and growing dependence on others. But that's not always the case. Your body, mind, and spirit can remain vibrant even at an advanced age if you continue to care for them. And even if you notice areas where you aren't as strong as you once were, there's encouraging news. It's never too late. Strength can be rebuilt. Balance can be regained. Endurance can be trained. Memory can be sharpened, all through small, consistent daily efforts. The human body retains the capacity to adapt and improve at any age. As renowned gerontologist Dr. William Carter once said, "Aging is not something that merely happens to us. It is something we shape through our daily choices." While we can't stop the ticking of the clock, we can absolutely influence how our bodies respond to its passing. The most important message these 8 signs offer is that you have far more control over your aging process than you might think. Each of these signs represents a capability that can either be maintained or restored. Start with the area that feels most important to you right now, whether that's balance, strength, memory, or better sleep. Pick one place to begin and take a small step today. Because every action, no matter how small, brings you closer to a future filled with energy, independence, and vitality. A life that's not just longer but richer and more fulfilling. Aging is not a disease, but a special form of health, wrote the famous physiologist John Whitmore. And these 8 signs show us exactly how that special form of health can look, if we choose to move forward with strength, determination, and joy.